Speak to me about your passion.
Well, I was born and raised in a little tiny town in California, which actually was like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the mountains. All we had was tons of mountains and a giant lake. So my parents did a really good job at not wanting us to do drugs. And so they put us headfirst into everything outdoors. Lots of sports, and hunting and fishing came from my dad. So started hunting and fishing from a really young age, and that was kind of my start in, the outdoors. Actually went through some really tough things at a certain point in my life, and that's kind of when I dove a little bit harder into hunting and fishing versus, and their plan worked. So yeah, that's kind of, once I got old enough to like drive and I started making my own money and stuff, I kind of dove into things a little bit more, because then I started buying better equipment and better gear and like my own bass boat and stuff like that, which just helped me do everything a little bit better. And then firearms, I've always had firearms because of hunting. I actually worked at a gun shop 12 years ago, I think. I worked at a gun store, and that's when I started concealed carrying, got my first pistol and stuff. But I actually got more serious in it when I got invited on the American Air Gunner show a few years ago.
Oh, and anything else interesting happen on that American Air Gunner show? Thank you for teeing up that question for me.
Yeah, I met my husband.
Wow, I had no idea. That's so great that this question just organically appeared.
No, but seriously, so obviously you know the story, but like got invited to be on the American Air Gunner TV show, shooting competition with air guns. I'd shot a couple air guns, not really a shooter though. Like my background is in hunting. Never went out to the range or anything. Basically, my shooting experience would be my dad would, take us to a random field or mountain, and we'd just make sure the rifle was sighted in. But it was like, here's your ammo. I never paid attention to what I was shooting even. And we never had rangefinders. It was just kind of like, oh, it's on, or it's close enough, or whatever. And then we'd go out and hunt. The American Air Gunner show, though, I learned a lot, actually. Like I learned about, holding for different distances and wind and stuff like that. And that actually helped me be successful in hunts after that. And after that show, that kind of lit a fire under me to start shooting more. And, I don't practice shooting as much as I should. And so I just started shooting a lot more. And then Nick and I.
Who won that show?
Well, Nick beat me. But to be fair, everyone knew he was going to win except for me. When we got to the show, everyone was like, oh my gosh, PewView's here. He's going to win. And I was the only one who didn't know who he was. And I was like, I don't care who this guy is or who he thinks, I don't care how good he thinks he is. I was like faking confidence. And I was like, I've got this. It was totally fake. But it worked because a lot of the other people, it got in their heads that he was so good. And, people from back home were like sending me videos of him, and they're like, oh, he's going to kick your ass. And I was like, no, I'm good. And I didn't watch him. I'm like, I'm not watching any of his videos until the show's over. So then the show ended finally, and he got first, and I barely got second. And I don't know how I did that.
So you married him for his trophy.
So I married him because he got a trophy.